Tonight, how you can change your brain and how the discovery of the brain's amazing ability to rewire itself is giving researchers new hope for treating disease and for improving life as we age. It's called neuroplasticity. Simply put, it's the brain's never-ending ability to change.
It is without doubt the last frontier.
We'll visit Nobel Prize winner Dr. Eric Kandel, who discovered how the brain changes to store memories.
To understand how you work, to understand how the inner parts of your psyche operate, it's fantastic.
We'll show you stroke patients learning to use disabled limbs by retraining their brains.
The brain is not as stiff as you think it is. There is room for pushing it around a bit, so things will improve.
We'll learn about brain fitness programs that may make aging a whole lot easier.
People spend more time at the gym or exercising. They're forgetting that one of the most important parts is your brain that you need to exercise.
And most astonishing of all, we'll show you how the discovery of neuroplasticity is unraveling the connection between the brain and the mind with the help of Buddhist monks and the Dalai Lama himself. Good evening from Dharamsala, India, home to one of the world's most revered spiritual and philosophical leaders, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. Many people come here for pilgrimages and spiritual quests, but we are here to explore a whole new world of science. It's called neuroplasticity, and it's the study of what we now know to be the brain's extraordinary ability to change, to grow, and to even rewire itself. And we're also here because the Dalai Lama and the Buddhist monks and lamas who devote themselves rigorously to meditation training now find themselves on the forefront of advanced research to find the connection between the mind and the brain. They are the keepers of the ancient but still evolving practice of Tibetan Buddhism. They begin as small children, memorizing and training their minds for a lifetime of devotion. Looking inward becomes a way of life, and meditation is one tool in their quest for enlightenment. And now this 2,500-year-old practice is offering modern neuroscience a path to understanding how our brains can change throughout life. It's a phenomenon called neuroplasticity, and it's turned brain science on its head.
So the first thing I'm going to do is measure your head.
33-year-old Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche, an esteemed teacher of Tibetan Buddhism, is on his third visit to the University of Wisconsin's Weizmann Laboratory for Brain Imaging and Behavior.
We're going to go one by one to make sure each one of these sensors is placed properly on your head, Rinpoche.
For the past 5 years, Buddhist monks with tens of thousands of hours of meditation training have volunteered their brains for scientific study.
Spending time with them is very inspiring because they are always very happy, very funny also.
That produce some oscillation in your brain.
Neuroscientist Antoine Lutz is part of a team of researchers trying to understand how the monks' mental training changes the brain.
We think that someone who is trained to practice compassion, they're somehow going to change their brain through this practice. So we are interested to see how far can you transform your mind and how far that the brain can change.
Seeing how physical training or experience altered brain circuits, the team at the University of Wisconsin wanted to know if mental training like meditation could change a region in the brain that manages emotions.
We think that what meditation does is training this region to react differently.
Next, we're going to do another block of compassion meditation.
On this visit to the lab, Lutz asked Mingyur Rinpoche to use his powers of concentration and attention to focus on compassion, a traditional Buddhist meditation practice. This gives the scientists a glimpse into the inner workings of a brain that has been trained to enter intense emotional states.
So what you see here is the EEG across 20 seconds when Mingyur Rinpoche was just staying at rest, doing nothing and, normal state. At this particular moment, we ask him to start to meditate on compassion. And what you see is that there is a very strong increase in the speed of the oscillations while he starts to meditate.
What Mingyur Rinpoche's brain is doing is called gamma activity. All brains do it, but very rarely at this level.
Okay, Rinpoche, that's the end of that block.
The fact that the monks' brains remain in this state, even after they stop meditating, is an example of neuroplastic change.
That's, for us, is an indication that through the training, something happened in the brain, and something had changed in such a way that they can generate these very, very integrative and coherent states during meditation.
This transformation of brain activity equals what the monks describe as a state of clarity and intense compassion for other beings.
It is our hope that by collaborating with experts like Mingyur Rinpoche, we can maybe better understand what is consciousness in relation to the brain.
There's many parallels between the modern science and Buddhism view.
For Mingyur Rinpoche, collaborating with Lutz has shown him how his thinking, his meditation practice, actually transforms the brain.
So the more you meditate, the more the amplitude increase. Oh, more. Yes.
More time, better.
Yeah.
If you apply meditation every day a little bit, then you change the habit of the brain function.
The brain changes in a kind of haphazard way, if you will, without that kind of systematic input or training.
Professor Richard Davidson is the director of the Weissman Center and the principal author of the meditation studies.
We are exposed to all kinds of influences in our environment all the time. Those influences are affecting our brain. They are changing our brain. If we are better able to regulate those inputs and to engage in specific kinds of training to cultivate positive qualities of mind, we can, I think, based upon modern neuroscience evidence, we can change our brains by transforming our minds in beneficial ways.
Davidson has published dozens of neuroscientific studies on emotional disorders and brain structure, but it was his personal interest in meditation that made him pursue a new line of research.
The brain is constantly changing. It's changing all the time. And the question is, how can we change it for the better?
To find out how emotions might be managed using the brain's plasticity, Davidson turned to one of the world's experts on training the mind, His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama has a keen interest in science, and he regularly participates in meetings of the Mind and Life Institute. That's an organization founded to connect Western scientific research with Buddhist interests in mental training.
There's no reason why we couldn't use the exquisite precision of science which we've directed to studying states like fear and anxiety and bring them to study compassion.
Davidson began his ongoing conversations with the Dalai Lama 16 years ago.
It was at that meeting in 1992 that I made a commitment to him as well as to myself that I was going to now come out of the closet, so to speak, with my interests in meditation.
Hearing a scientist mention meditation matched the Dalai Lama's growing awareness of the discovery of neuroplasticity. With his lifelong curiosity about science and a Buddhist philosophy centered on training the mind, the Dalai Lama took notice of what was then this new science 20 years ago. He invited a group of scientists here to his home in exile to talk about it. From that first meeting grew a regular interchange between Buddhism and brain scientists.
We will be discussing neuroplasticity, which refers to the brain's capacity to change.
At a Mind and Life meeting at the Dalai Lama's home in Dharamsala in 2004, Davidson presented the paper that put meditation